In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the additive method for modeling your puzzle cube pieces in Inventor. For our example, we're going to model this blue puzzle cube piece that you see here on my screen. First thing we need to do is go to Inventor and open the software package. So find the brown capital I on your desktop and open. I chose to right-click and press open because it's been my experience that Inventor opens a little more quickly when you do it this way, but you can still double-click and it should open. First thing you need to do anytime you start a new project is make a project folder. So I'm going to go up here to the projects icon and I'm going to press new, make a new folder. I do want a single user project, and now I'm going to highlight project name, type in puzzle cube. Notice that it put puzzle cube at the end of my pathway here for my workspace. I'm going to choose next and finish, and it says you want to create this path, and I say okay because I do. And now notice that we have a puzzle cube project in the window up here, and it has a check mark in front. The check mark, as you've learned from your previous videos, lets you know that the puzzle cube is your active project. It is seriously important that you save everything that we do for the puzzle cube. All of your parts, assemblies, drawings, everything needs to be in this puzzle cube project folder, or it will create problems for you down the line. I'm going to choose done, and now we're ready to start making a new part. You have an option here in the splash screen for a part, a assembly, a drawing, and a presentation, but there's also other ways you can make new files in Inventor. You can use the I application button here. If I click on the down arrow, you also have a choice for new, and then I notice I see assembly, drawing, part, and presentation. Next to the I, there's a blank page, and you can click the arrow down here. When I do, I have assembly, drawing, part, and presentation. 3 different ways that you can do the same thing. Something that you need to consider when you're starting before we click new part file, I'm going to come up here to the setting button, and I need to make sure that I'm in inches, and I am, but should you ever need to model something in millimeters, then you would come here and you would click this radio button and it would change it to millimeters. We do stay with the ANSI standard of blueprinting, and so we will never change that, but sometimes you might need to change between inches and millimeters, and that's how you do that, through this settings button. Now I'm going to choose a new part. I'll give it a minute here. I accidentally clicked it twice, and I can tell because I can see little tabs down here that say part 1 and part 2. So I'm going to close this one so I only have a part 1. A little bit of navigation information for you. So to begin, we need to start a 2D sketch. When I look at my puzzle piece, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw just this base down here that is just the square, and then I'm going to add to it additive method, this little column that's on the top. So I'm going to start by trying to get this square. So I'm going to choose Start 2D Sketch, and then I need to choose which plane I want to put it on. And when I hover over the planes, I can see I have an XY plane, the YZ plane, and the XZ plane. I always choose the XY plane because it puts it in an orientation that I'm familiar with. So we're going to start by making the square, and I'm going to choose this rectangle tool, and then I click and drag. And I can type in that square from my piece. I'll show you it again. It is a square. It is 2 cubes wide. So whenever I am setting my rectangle here, I can go ahead and type in, notice it's one of my dimensions is highlighted in blue. I can go ahead and type in 2 times, and each block was 0.75 wide, and so I can do this and hit enter or tab to get to the next one, and notice that Inventor did my math for me already. And then it is 2 wide, so now that it tells me, I can just put 1.5. So here's my square that is 2 cubes by 2 cubes representing the base of my puzzle piece. Now I'm ready to give it some thickness, so I finish my sketch. Notice that if I want to explain a little feature on your mouse, you have that little rolly ball that's in between the two buttons. If I push down and hold it, I can drag my view wherever I would like. If I roll it away from me, it makes it smaller. If I roll it towards me, it makes it larger. So I want you to play, you can pause the video and play around with that for a little bit, but that's really helpful when you're creating things in Inventor. In order to give this block thickness, I need to extrude. So I'm going to come up here to the top ribbon, top panel, and I'm going to hit extrude. This takes my profile that I created, the sketch that I drew, and it gives it a thickness. And I can decide what thickness I want. I type in 0.75 because it's the height of 1 cube. And then I have options here. I could go the other way with my thickness. I could split the thickness, which is often what I like to do. I like to keep things centered, and this will be helpful to us later when we start to assemble files, especially when they become a little more complicated than puzzle cubes. Having things centered around the origin or centered between your planes is very helpful. And so then I'm going to click OK. Next, so this gives me the bottom base piece right here. Next, I want to add this little tower to the top. So this is the additive method. I started with the piece and I want to add to it. So I'm going to make another 2D sketch that's 1 block wide. And then I'm going to add it to the side. I'm going to pick the side of my block that I am trying to, that I need to add that to. So, and I can use my navigation cube here. Say that I need to add it to the back of this block. I can click and hold my button on the cube, and then I can rotate this thing around so I can see. But I want it on the front, so I'm going to choose right here. So I'm going to create a line from the middle. And notice when I am on the line right here, my dot is yellow, but as I come down, when I get to the very middle, it turns green. So I'm going to use that to bring my line over. I can make a line, but I want it to be totally horizontal, so you'll notice it kind of snaps into place. I can also come in when I find the middle of the other side of the screen. I should turn green as well, but I'm going to put this, just set this right here, and then I'm going to bring my line down and I'm going to click and set this line right here. Now this isn't the size that I want it, so I'm going to come up here to the top and I'm going to choose this dimension bar, and I'm going to find this line top right here, click on it and drag up, and when I click one time it's going to ask me what size do you want this to be, and I'm going to type in 0.75, the width of 1 puzzle cube piece. And then it tells you here that it is 0.75. Now I'm ready to extrude to make this tower, so I'm going to finish my sketch. And I'm going to choose extrude. And I need to pick the profile, and it found a profile for me. And this time I don't want to extrude it halfway in one direction and halfway in the other. I do want to extrude it all this way, but I do need it to be 2 blocks tall. So I can do 2 times 0.75, or if you remember that 2 times 0.75 is 1.5, that will work. You can just type in 1.5. And now if I drag my puzzle cube piece around, you can see that I have the piece that is made in, that we had on my Word document, the blue puzzle cube piece. So now I need to color my puzzle cube piece to be blue. I'm going to go up here where it says default, and I'm going to choose a blue, which will be, they're alphabetical, so I'm going to look for the B's for blue, and when I find blue, it makes everything blue. Next, finally, we need to save our piece. So I'm going to come to the eye and I'm going to choose Save As. When it comes up, I'm going to make sure that I'm in the Puzzle Cube folder, and instead of saving it as part 1, I want to be a little more descriptive. So I'm going to save it as the color of the piece. Be sure that when you're saving all of your pieces, you name it the color of the piece. So this is going to be blue piece, or you can just name it blue. Now I might want this view to turn it around so that it looks more like, I can look how I'm hitting the corners to get it more like what it looked like in my Word document. I can hover and turn it around and make it right side up. I can choose this orbital free orbit, and I can grab it and drag it. Oh, trying to drag it and make it change. And turn it right side up like it was in the picture in the Word document. And that's how you do that. Next, I'm going to show you how to do the same piece with the subtractive method.